Good morning and welcome back to Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates Morning Show. You're viewing us here live in Portmore, Scarborough, Tobago. Yes, my name is Dwayne. For those of you just joining us or rejoining us, we want to continue the discussion this morning surrounding women of substance. We know who that is, but before I reveal who that is this morning, we have our photo of the day. All right, of course, you are to take some time. Guess what this is? For most of you, this should be quite obvious, but I want to say it's Glamorgan. I might be wrong, but we will see. It will be revealed at the end of this interview before we go over to Good Morning Tobago. So this morning we have none other than Miss Onika Maz. Certainly no stranger to us here at Tobago Updates and here for us in Tobago. Good morning and welcome to you.
Hi, good morning, Dwayne.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
I don't know if you read the Bible very well. I'm sure you do. But I was reading in Chronicles and Kings, and they always talk about the mighty men of valor.
Mighty men of valor. I refer to my sons as mighty men of valor.
Yes. And definitely great women were behind those men. You are certainly no different.
Thank
right?
you. I received that.
We put a lot of respect on your name and the work that you do in Tobago, in the country, in the region, and in the world. A woman of substance. For those of our viewers who might not know about this organization, just share with us a bit about it, please.
Okay, sure. So, Women of Substance is a registered non-profit organization, and Women of Substance offers support to persons affected by domestic violence and abuse. Women of Substance was birthed out of my experience, my personal experience with intimate partner violence. So, during my experience, I did not know of support systems, and I felt that there were gaps. And I am a Christian, I am a believer, and I know that I got the lead from God to birth Women of Substance. So coming out of my mess, God gave me a message and a ministry through, or that is Women of Substance.
All right. So you have been doing quite a number of things, a number of work in terms of sensitizing. I don't want to make it gender oriented, but the world in Tobago about both men and women, young boys and young girls, right? About what that you do. Just share with us some of the most notable feats that you would have accomplished, especially in recent times, and some of the things that you've been doing.
Okay, so we have been doing awareness programs. We have done a Purple Bench campaign, right? And for me, that was dear to our heart, dear to my heart. I consider that to be my baby that I nurtured.
What was that about?
So it was a domestic violence awareness campaign where purple benches were placed in communities throughout Tobago, and of course we did some in Trinidad. So persons were seeing purple benches and wondering, what are these purple benches and why are they there? Now, I'm sad, and I must say that I'm sad that I'm no longer seeing them other than in the bus sheds. I saw still there's Crown Point, Black Rock, and some other bus shed. But the Purple Bench Domestic Violence Awareness Project was a project where we painted benches purple, and we had domestic violence messages and contact information on those benches. So what we did at that time was partnered with CPEP so that we provided the paint and the artwork, and they assisted us with the painting of the benches, and we got an opportunity to sensitize the workers while all this was happening.
Right.
So the persons were asking, why purple benches? Why concrete benches? And our explanation was, and still is, and still will be, in every community throughout Tobago, persons can identify at least one person who they know personally have been affected by domestic violence and abuse. So we wanted that permanent reminder. So every time people recognize these or see these purple benches, the reminder is there that, you know what, this is a social issue and we need
To address it.
Okay. Yeah, so this is a plea, a silent plea, a technical plea to have our purple benches. We are open to collaborate. You know, how could they just repaint the benches and not? I mean, I feel like, you know, our effort was downplayed. It is a social issue.
Yeah.
We know of people who are affected by domestic violence on a daily basis. We receive calls on a daily basis. So we want persons to have the information. Persons must be able to see a bench, sit on that bench, reach out to somebody, reach out to women of substance. Hey, I need help. How can I get the help that I need?
And perhaps you need to write to the authorities to find out what's going on there, because, you know, these social issues spiral into greater, you know, greater issues in the country as it pertains to crime, etc., etc., etc. And, you know, we have social unrest, which would be mitigated if we deal with these issues head on.
Definitely. Yeah. And that is why I always say that at Women of Substance, we believe in prevention is better than cure.
Correct.
Right? So we don't want to be an organization that responds to what is happening. We want to be able to prevent, and hence the reason we go into the schools and have continuous conversations, right, and programs that our young people can benefit from.
So while we're on programs, you are here because you are championing a program themed raising resilient leaders, respect, responsibility, and empowerment.
Yes.
And you're doing this in commemoration of the Day of International Day of the
Boy Child, which is celebrated on Friday, 16th May.
All right. So how does, you know, what you do being more, especially with your experience, domestic violence against women, where does the boy child come in all of this? Where's the relevance to that? Because, I mean, how they're young, are we not supposed to be protecting them from these conversations? Your thoughts?
Great question. What we know is that the higher percentage, based on reports, the higher percentage of perpetrators are males. What we want to do is not react, we want to prevent. So if we empower them, if we give them that information that they need beforehand, then they will be at a place where they can make informed decisions. They can choose wisely when it comes to relationships. Gender-based violence, it's gender-based violence. It's not only women who are affected. Women are also perpetrators, and this we know. I am the proud mother of 2 sons, and I understand the effect of my experience on them. They were secondary victims, right? And
you know, secondhand smoke is one of the worst.
Definitely, right? So we want to educate, we want to empower our young men. Our young men, we live in a society where our young men are not taught how to express their emotions, right? Bottle up your emotions, man up. What does man up mean? What does it mean to man up? What does a strong man look like? A strong man, I mean, I could look at you and say, okay, Dwayne is a strong man. But does it mean that because Dwayne is a strong man, Dwayne is not required to cry? Dwayne is not required to express how he feels. If Dwayne encounters pain, because Dwayne is a strong man, Dwayne is not supposed to say that, you know what, I am hurting because I saw daddy inflicting pain on mommy or mommy inflicting pain on daddy. So this is the reason why we tend to work with our young men. We also do work with our young women, but we work with our young men because we want our young men to be healthy young men, healthy emotionally. You understand? We want them to be able to express their emotions, and hence the reason we have in our male programs only male presenters.
And who are some of those male presenters? If you want to share, if you want to let the cat out of the bag.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
We have our very own Kashif Wilson,
Okay.
musician.
And a family man as well.
And a family man and former educator, powerful young man, right? Whom I have lots of respect for. He was also my two sons' former teacher.
Okay.
Right? We have Mr. Dion Mundy.
I don't know this gentleman at all.
He's a therapeutic counselor with the Division of Health, Wellness, and Social Protection. Powerful young man. We also have Lieutenant Kwame Clark, a chaplain at the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force. Now, Kwame, for the people who know him or those that don't know, they should check him out on social media, Facebook. He's also a pastor, right? So he's the pastor that would show up to preach a sermon on gun violence, and he may have a weapon strapped on, you understand, to get the message across. So we were careful in choosing the speakers. It is a very informal setting where the young men can just be themselves. We are going to create a safe space for them so that they can share how they feel. They can share the challenges they face on a daily basis. Dwayne, when we have these sessions at the schools, we are amazed at the information we receive, and it pains my heart because as adults, we believe that, you know what, if even the home is toxic, the children are not affected because, you know what, I'm a strong man, they will bounce back, they will grow out of it. But they carry a pain, and these children grow into adults who are broken and hurting. And you know what happens? It means that most of them become perpetrators, right? So we definitely want to nip it in the bud. We want to give them that space to talk about how they feel. Tell them what domestic violence looks like, what a toxic relationship looks like, and how they can contribute to a healthy relationship.
I know we are fast spent on time, but I have a burning question, and not to be facetious, but how do you see mitigating domestic violence and gender-based violence, right? With the emphasis of the boy child, when there are those of them who are already, marinated in that kind of culture already. It's a way of life for them already. How are you, how does the symposium aimed at, bringing those out already? Is this going to be a one-time thing?
No, this program is done annually, and apart from the Boys Symposium, we have conversations, right? And last year we had our youth program where we engaged young persons from Trinidad and Tobago schools, and that was over a 4-month period. Right? So the conversations must be continuous, right? Because of course, it is violence is ingrained in our society, our culture. People are comfortable sitting back and seeing
a fight
and recording,
right,
and not trying to
prevent or separate.
Definitely, because persons might say, I ain't getting involved because what if something happens to me, right? So
but more often than not, we escalate rather than de-escalate.
Definitely,
right?
and we need the conversation to be continuous, and hence the reason why it is not a one-off. And I would say to persons in Tobago and worldwide, since we are being viewed worldwide, people may see me at times and think, well, okay, you know what? Miss Mars is coming to I am a professional beggar by now, right? Because when it comes to our programs, we are not funded by the government,
Right.
and we are always seeking the help of the public. We are always asking persons to donate to us so that we can do these programs, because, of course, we have to provide lunches for these young men. We have to have a venue to keep the program.
Right.
We have to, give them little incentives. And, we want persons to pour into us. We are pouring into Tobago. And because we want to see a better Tobago.
Yes.
We want to see a Tobago that is free from violence.
And while we're on the topic of venue, where will this event be taking place?
So it will be taking place at the Tobago Information Technology Limited building at Signal Hill, well, better known as the 211 building.
All right. Right. So
we are encouraging the principals to send out the boys,
right.
ensure that they are there on time. The program starts at 9 a.m. If our boys can arrive at 8:50, so that they'll be seated and we'll all be comfortable. We are going to be very happy. We are excited. The speakers are excited. We cannot wait for tomorrow, God's willing, for the start of that program to pour into our young men. We love our young men. We want our young men to know that they are mighty men of valor. We want them to know that they are loved, they are appreciated, and we want them to know what a toxic environment looks like.
My last question to you, Ms. Maz, is what would be the area of focus, right, in terms of topical discussions? I don't want to preempt you, but just one important area of focus tomorrow that people would want to buy into and know more of.
Okay, so expressing emotions.
Emotional intelligence. Okay, good. All right. So, Miss Maz, I want to thank you for being here. I wish we could have stayed a bit longer and delve more into, the intricacies of gender-based violence and how boys are definitely related to the mitigating strategy, of eradicating this social issue. I want to thank you for doing for the work that you're doing. Continue the great work that you're doing, and thank you for
very much.
joining us here on Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates Television.
Thank you for having me, and it is not by chance that I'm here on Youth Wednesdays.
Of course.
I really appreciate being here and look forward to continuing the conversation because, as I said, this is a conversation that should take place 24/7, 365.
Yes.
So thank you for being
The pleasure is all
here.
ours. So, guys, this brings us to the end of this interview. Remember, I told you from the onset that you had to guess a photo, right? But before we go, we must please bring up the photo, please, and thanks. And I want to go to our live to see if anybody got it first. Just give me a moment.
I will have seconds. What can George?
Can anybody guess on the live now where this is? And I've seen anybody saying anything, right? But for those of you who did not get it, right, it should have been this should have been an easy guess. But this is at Fort King George, up at the old hospital there, overlooking the sea. This is the right there. So guys, this brings us to the end of the photo of the day segment and Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates morning show. We're going to go over to Good Morning Tobago. Just remember to share the live. We'll be right back and have a great day.